Hi, everybody. For you that don't know me, my name is Doug Probst, and I'm the president and co-founder of Handshake America. Today, we're going to share via a short video some ideas and thoughts regarding presence. It's a first time for Handshake America and doing it in this method, and quite frankly, it's a little awkward. But I think the best way to illustrate this last of our 5Ps is to share a few stories that help give you an idea of what we're talking about in presence. The first story I'll share with you is what I'll call the airport kid. The airport kid was a kid that sat across from me about 10 years ago, and he was in his early 20s and clearly off to an interview. He had a brand new suit, he had a pressed shirt, tie was tied perfectly, his shoes were shined, nice briefcase, but he had noticed when I looked at his new suit, he had a label on his sleeve. For you that haven't bought a new suit in a long time, or a kind of suit that has this, sometimes it comes with a label on the outside. You're supposed to take that off before you wear it out. Now, I couldn't let that kid go to his interview with that on, and I leaned over to him and I said, "Hey, buddy, you're supposed to take that off." He was really embarrassed and ran off to get it taken off. It's not too hard to take off, but the point of bringing up that story is, here's a kid who knew all the right things. That he was supposed to look good, he was supposed to have a nice tied tie, had a nice new suit, but he just didn't know the rule of the labels coming off the outside of the jacket. There are those rules. Unfortunately, a physical presence is what does make a difference. Showing up on time is one of those, but also the details also matter. So it's important to kind of keep your eyes and ears and knowledge open about what those rules are about your physical presence. The second story is the twirling of the hair kid. Now, this is one of our own handshake students. A few years ago, when we had about 24 kids in the program, we had the opportunity to listen in a very intimate setting, Hank Aaron, the famous Hall of Fame baseball player, address our handshake students. It was phenomenal. And this student, who I was sitting right behind in this small group, was subconsciously twirling his hair, and he was constantly doing it and didn't realize he was doing it, but it was really bothering Mr. Aaron. Mr. Aaron was distracted by it, and he also thought the kid wasn't interested or paying attention to what Hank was saying. So noticing that situation, I firmly planted my hand on his shoulder and told him, "Stop doing that." And he was mortified, and his face got all red, and he stopped it. But afterwards, I picked him up and I said, "Hey, let me explain." He goes, no, I understand. I don't know I do that. I guess I kind of realize it sometimes, but I don't realize how off-putting it can look." And I thought that was really cool because, yeah, he was super embarrassed that he was caught doing that, and I had to call him out on that, and he wasn't even my handshake student. But the fact that he was coachable, the thought that he really realized now that I got to stop doing that. He may ask some of his friends too to say, "If you catch me doing that, call me out on it." Staying coachable on those kind of things related to presence is really important. The third story is about what I'll call the interview kid. And I was interviewing people at Miami University for an accounting position, which was a pretty good position. So we got some really good candidates, and this particular candidate had a very good resume, a 4.0, was involved with a bunch of clubs. So I was anxious to get to meet him. When he came through the door, immediately I felt a negative presence. Yes, he was a 4.0, and he had some confidence, but I would say that confidence clearly went over to a label of cocky. He wasn't dressed appropriately. Back then, everybody wore ties to interviews. But he also was leaning back in his chair. He came in with a Mountain Dew can and really had a attitude like, "What can I do for him?" When I asked him a few questions, it was really clear, not that I knew about the 5Ps at that point, but he didn't have any of them, as far as I could tell, based on the conversation. He didn't work that hard. When I asked him how he got a 4.0, he said, "I don't have to work that hard. It's always been easy for me." Okay. What do you like to do? He doesn't really have a real hobby or a passion for anything. He kind of had a negative attitude on some topics that we talked about. And when I asked him about his friends, he kind of dismissed them as like he doesn't have as smart of friends or he doesn't hang around a number of people. It was a terrible interview. But he was a 4.0 and he thought he had what it took. But he had a terrible presence. And even though I didn't need to know that from just the presence because of the interview questions, he gave me that impression right away. You can see somebody as soon as they walk into the room. Any of the handshake coaches will tell you that. There's a certain aura that people bring. And if it's a cockiness, if it's a lack of confidence, that's clearly revealed when you walk into the room. So if we think about what the messages of those three stories are, first of all, the airport kid, just stay aware. Do your research, find out what the rules are. It does matter, unfortunately. But secondly, stay coachable. There are body language things, there are feedback you can get that tells you, what does my presence look like? Do you realize you're not doing something? Do you realize your tie's not tied correctly, or that your skirt is wrinkled, or whatever the situation might be? Take that coaching. Ask for feedback. How do I look? Look at my resume. Are the words all spelled correctly? Things like that. Stay coachable and be humble enough to take that advice. And the third most important thing, and the reason this is our last of the 5 Ps, is because it's really a presence that is generated from knowing that you do have those other 4 Ps. Knowing that you worked hard, you have that perseverance that comes from your gut, and that passion, that enthusiasm for what you're doing. That perseverance and passion is grit. That's what we selected you on, and that's what's important to be successful, no matter what direction you go. So having that perseverance, that passion, and that positive mental attitude, it comes off real clearly when you're not positive. When you're negative, or you just have an idea that things are not going well, sure, there are bad things going on, but having that positive outlook, that optimism, is really important, and it comes off in how you stand and how you talk. The people around you, show me your friends, I'll show you your future. You're going to see good examples around you, or you can choose to have bad examples around you. You will turn into the people that you hang around. Having good family members, having good teammates, having good friends, having good people that work for you, or good teachers or good coaches, all are part of the people that help define you and shape you and create your presence. So having those 4 Ps gives you that combination that you can use to create that presence, that poise and confidence in front of people that says, I got my act together. I have a good foundation. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to have a good attitude, and I'm going to make you proud. So those are some of the thoughts. Thanks for taking this time. Enjoy your meeting. Have fun in your senior year. Not too much fun. Finish strong. And I look forward to meeting you the next time and giving you a good handshake and getting one in return.